Thanks for stopping by Big Top Gaming. My name's Brian.
And I'm Ethan.
And we've got another War Machine battle report for you with Scorn going into minions.
So for my list, trying to fit all the huge bases I could, I decided to run Sturm and Drang with a Soul Slave, 2 Battle Boars, Warhog, double Sacravault, double Dunian, and then Under Chief Meyer with a Dracodile, and then a Swamp Goober.
And for the first ever Scorn list on this channel, I also decided to slap a ton of huge bases into here. Ever since Xerxes 2 came out, I'd always wanted to play him, and I think there was a point where my Mark II army existed, and then I didn't have it anymore, and then Xerxes came out. So I've got Xerxes with a Desert Hydra, 2 Siege Animatrixes, or Antrixi. There's some plural stuff going on there. I've brought Tyrant Zadesh with a Terrorizer. There's a Void Archon in here. Xerxes also has like a Kreia and Aptimus Pillow Pants. Then for the rest of it, it's just a lot of support. There's a Mortithurge in here with 2 Mist Speakers and 2 Beast Handlers. So I won the role to go first on this one, and that was super great for me. My list is super duper fast, and Ethan's is not.
No, mine is literally half the speed of all your stuff.
Yep. It's also kind of nice because this is my first Scorn game in a very, very long time, and you can see that I was so excited to get this out that I barely have the stuff kind of set up and put together, even like base coded or anything. I think Xerxes is still missing pieces that I need to deal with, but one of my turtles is a rescue and the other one is a foster turtle. The gray one belongs to my good friend John. Let me borrow it for this one because I am down a turtle, which will change eventually. But for right now, I'm just trying to get my bearings on the army because I've read the rules a bunch and absorbed it, but I think until you play a list, you really don't get the gist of what to do with it. Like Ethan's telling me like, oh, you threat forever, and I was like, oh yeah, so I am speed this. Oh yeah, Xerxes does have this cool field marshal that just gives you +2 speed for whatever reason. Like, it's nice to kind of learn the list as you're going for turn 1 because I don't really have to worry too much about what I'm doing. I just kind of need to get it up there and say, well, you can't get to me, so I can just run up as far as I want to and exist this way. So just making sure that the support's following the Siege Animatrix on each side, and I feel like it looks like it's kind of like I'm like teching against Ethan's list here because I've got 2 Mist Speakers in this one, but really blinding any battle engine that does a lot of work really sucks. So even if I were playing this in a normal like tournament setting, I'd probably still have 2 Mist Speakers in here to make sure that these guys don't go like belly up. But otherwise, some of the other support's going to be sitting behind that wall, and the rest is me just trying to figure out like where Xerxes is going to go and what he's going to do. If you're a savvy Scorn player, you'll notice that I haven't really rushed anything because I don't pay too much attention to rush actually being able to add to your normal movement. I thought it was just when you charge. Too many boundless charges for this guy, I guess.
So going second in this matchup really sucks. So there I'm measuring his threats, and basically he can shoot my deployment zone. So there's really nowhere I can hide the support very well without literally throwing my huge bases base to base. So Spell Slave goes, TKs that Sacravault 2 inches forward, because Speed 4 battle engines really suck, but at least I can TK them so they can run 10 inches. So I forgot to do my Crypt of Souls, so the bottom vault got 3 souls, the top one only got 1. I forgot that was a maintenance phase. I have not played a Sacravault since Mark II, and as you can tell, the bottom one is missing its wheels, because they broke off when I moved literally 5 years ago, and I never had the urge to re-glue it back together.
Those Sacrovaults are some trippy models, because like the one that is like kind of put together by now, I had to like cut out the whole middle of this thing because it looked like they burped the resin or something, and it made it so that none of those flat pieces could fit together. So instead of filing my parts order, I just decided to pull out the Dremel and bathe myself in resin dust to make sure that they would go together.
Yep, my vault is so much bubbles in the layers, like it just does not fit flat, and I tried grinding mine down, so I probably have like asbestos in my lungs from that.
Yep, I had to wear a like a particulate mask to make sure I didn't like just absorb all of that resin into my lungs.
So here, my turn's actually taking a while because we're going through his threats, because I'm like, normally I put Polarity Field on the Dracodile, and I'm like, wait, your huge base threatens more walking than mine does charging, because his can walk 9, threaten 11. Mine charges 8, threatens 10.
Yeah.
So I'm like, that's really sucks. So I end up putting Vision on the bottom Sacrovault to maybe survive and not get one rounded by a turtle. And then he puts up Polarity Field on the Dracodile just cuz, might as well. Puts up D-Cell, barely walks forward because I realize like if he rushes everything, he can probably get all those sprays on me, spraying through stuff and the...
Yeah, because I've got, you know, five attacks that come off that thing from, what is it, 15?
Yep, you can walk 9 and spray 6.
Yeah.
So...
I thought they were spray 8s.
Maybe.
I don't know. It's long.
And then, so, like, I know he's going to get the alpha, so there's not much I can really do to stop that. It's more of, like, I have to hope enough survives. So there I'm just running up Warhog, Sacrovault, and then the Dracodile is going to run, and my goal is to try and hook him right to base the battle engine down there. That way there's no line of sight to Sturmdrang, and then hopefully he can't charge something up top and still be able to face and get the Dracodile with the Hydra.
Yeah, they're spray 8s.
Yeah, okay, yeah. So you threaten 17 inches on your spray. So, and my Field Marshal Shield Guard, that's not a Field Marshal. Actually, I think it technically is. I'd have to reword it because I'm in Sturm form, and like as every player knows, you default Sturm the entire game until shit hits the fan. And then there, my support's just running up. Meyer is tucked in between the Sacrovault and the Dracodile, and then both of the Dunians are in range of him.
So for my turn 2, we get to experience Brian War Machine in its purest form, and that I really just am going to be throwing things at stuff and seeing what I can take out. There's no real big plan here other than support goes first. So we're going to go ahead and whip on the turtle a little bit. My first one misses, which is unfortunate. It just means that instead of being able to heal all that damage back with the 4th Beast Handler, I had to use the attack to smack him and get that 3rd Rage token on there because I want to make sure I have as many attacks as I can get. My goal with him is to just kind of go in and take out I'm hoping to take out the Sacrovault and maybe put some damage in on the Razor Boar, or Battle Boar, sorry, as well. The thing you'll notice here is, well, other than my Void Archon just running to engage, because Dark Shroud is really important for this one, I want to make sure I'm getting some dice damage checks on the Sacrovault instead of being dice minus anything. Turtles have a lot of melee output, and this one specifically because it has Ignite on it.
No, Ignite's on the top one.
I thought this one had Ignite because Xerxes couldn't have put it on the other one.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
So this one is ignited, and we're going in at dice damage. The charge gets flung off because of vision, but I think now I'm just futzing around because this is the rough part of this game, is that a lot of this I'm learning it as I'm playing it. So I think I'm flip-flopping around on what the actual, like, how his dual attack works with the with rolling up all these shots. Either that, or we've just rolled dice so quick that I was screwing around somehow. I don't know what I was doing. So you could see me rolling columns on this just because I was like, yep, it's a big thing. But we end up rolling really low on that one. I think
I shield guarded the first one.
Oh, yeah,
that's why
you
had to roll a
shield guarded.
column.
Yeah, there we go. So my attacks are going through at dice damage. That 2 for the 4 damage one that I did kind of got countered by the 12 damage that I rolled for there, but I leave the Sacrovault on 3 boxes, and I didn't feat with Xerxes this turn because I was looking at trying to hold the feat back a little bit, not to get greedy, but to try and like jam it out a bit. My thought was there's like 2 schools of thought with this turn, right? Not that this is like, there's a specific way this works. There's not like a College of War Machine or something, but there is War Machine University.
I believe there is a College of Xerxes, and it's called you literally feat top of 2 every game.
So yeah, I could have feated and then made sure that the Sacrovault went down and got some more damage in on that Razor Boar. But I wanted to be like, I figured that once, if I go in on this alpha and something doesn't come up the way I want it to, it means that holding the feat lets me take the fewer pieces that I have left later and get the most out of them with that feat. So that was my idea, was like, instead of going really hard on the alpha to take things out, I was just going to hold back a little bit and be a little conscientious about what was going on here.
I'm just going to say you were greedy.
Maybe I was greedy in a weird way. Like, I wanted the feat to do more later. So next up goes my Kreia and just puts up Force Aura in the middle in case there's anything here that's going to be getting shot at. For the most part, I think Ethan's going to be spending a lot of his time trying to deal with that turtle in the Void Archon. And then the Mortithurge, Puppet Masters, I believe the Hydra right now, and then...
you actually took back the Animus because we realized, like, why doesn't Xerxes just cast it?
Oh yeah, flopping back and forth on who was going to cast it. I think that was Aptimus Marketh, like, moved out and then moved back again. I was just being weird with what he was actually going to be doing that turn. And then I believe the Mortithurge just stayed where he was at and Puppet Mastered the
Hydra, yeah.
The Hydra, because I was just not moving him. Throwing huge bases up this far up the table was just really exciting. Like, this is like Little Kid War Machine, I think.
Yep, and you rushed him, so he charged 12 inches.
Yeah, he's just getting up there ridiculously fast. This list is insane.
Yep.
And since he has Rapport on him, it means that even though I'm not within 10 inches of Xerxes, I can still force him and do all that fun stuff. So I'm on the Sacrovault right now, and I've got a Warhog and a Battle Boar in my melee. So I feel like with 5 initials and the other bot ones that I should be able to collapse a lot of stuff around here. My big targets are the Sacrovault and the Warhog, because I feel like that's one of the only things that can take me out up there, outside of the Dracodile, of course. So after going through all the attacks, we end up taking off the Sacrovault and the Warhog, and I think I have 1 left to put some damage into the Battle Boar.
No, you had 2
2 attacks left. They just didn't roll super hot, so that's why.
You left them on 6.
Yep.
Like, if you had feated, I think you kill all 3 of them.
I also believe there might have been a point there where I had raged up the battle engine and then put enrage on the Hydra. So that was...
You did not enrage it this turn.
Oh, well, then I'm just a really great Scorn player.
Because the top ones are just going right.
Oh yeah, they're going now, and I was like, oh, I probably should have done this first. So yeah, the activations up here on the top are probably not the greatest. I decide to walk the battle engine around this big rock instead of preparing him to go in after the Hydra, because I really don't expect this Hydra to stick around very long. So I decided to take some pot shots into the Razor, or the Battle Boar that's hanging out there, and he of course misses because I need a bazillion dice to hit.
Yeah, you need a 10 in combat. And I forgot the Dunian's healing can be anywhere on the board, because those 2 miles died. Those two, the Vault and the Warhog, so I could have healed the Vault on the other side up even more.
Yep, and then that's going to be the run of my turn 2, which I think was pretty decent, but I could have done a little bit more here if I was just playing smarter.
So my turn 2. One vault's dead. One vault's 1 foot in the grave, and I've lost my heavy, and I've almost lost primal. So I think I'm going to be planning out some stuff. So there I do a mental force bone shaker to try and get some chip damage on the
Battle engine.
yeah, on the derp turtle. Hits really well, and then does exactly 1 point to give him a nice free token, which was really nice.
Yeah, I was really like you don't have a ton of like weird outside attacks, but I was worried about some just little chip damage coming in to help soften it up, and that after that happened, I was like, oh, I think he'll be all right.
Yeah, I mean your armor 19,
20.
Your armor 20 with 35.
35,
box.
yep.
So like you're down to 32 when he went in, and then we realized he should have taken a point from.
Yeah, there was a corrosion one there.
The well, or not the well, the
vault. Soul Storm.
So he took 4, so now he's taken 5 total. So,
yep.
Oh boy, I just need a vault. The vault does have 3 souls on it, so he can boost damage, reload, and then boost damage again, which is really fun for vaults because they do not have rate of fire 3, they have reload.
Yeah, recently we just played a game with the Archangel, which may or may not be out before this one, but if I ever had to go from rate of fire 3 to like reload 1s, I think I would just stop playing that model.
Yeah, and I'll talk more about the Sacra Vault and my thoughts on it at the end because that'll take way longer to talk about than this turn. So there I end up doing some thoughts with Sturm and Drang, like walking them up, primal, heal, and then decel again. But after doing some measuring and thinking, I eventually take that back because I realized, like, why not do the Dracodile first and then see if it can actually, if I need primal on top. Because primaling both my lights and losing their activation sucks.
Yeah.
And I was hoping maybe the Dracodile could maybe crank it so I could maybe run and contest that zone.
Well, and you're like a mini Desert Hydra kind of because you have 5 initials too.
Yep, with assault, and then my assault spray misses, or if we think it misses, it ends up we're in the rear arc. We fix that later on.
Yep.
But my charge attack hits.
And you're blowing damage up on this guy. Like that box cars on that damage roll really made me nervous. Like I was feeling all right, and then it went downhill.
Because my bite's pound 19, so I'm dice damage, and then I have 3 other initials that are dice -2, and then there my dice rolls start to go bad.
Yeah.
So I've bought in. This is my last battle attack, and then I think I miss, but then we realize I'm actually in the rear arc, so that 3 hits, and then I do 6 damage. And then the assault spray, we rolled the damage and it actually didn't hurt him. So now the battle board goes.
I think the 3 would have missed still, wouldn't it? Because I'm defense 8 in the butt and you're mat 6.
Yeah, so 3 hits.
Oh yeah, never mind.
Or the Dunian charged it and left it on 3.
Yep, so not a ton of boxes left on him. So I'm not... I had a feeling like I was going to lose the Hydra up here, but I feel like I took away enough to where it's not the most terrible trade in the universe.
So now Sturm goes up, sprays the void. Luckily rolls Snake Eyes on my vault because I realized with Dark Shroud it's a dice -8.
Yeah, you could rock it.
Dice -6. I would have killed my own guy if I hit. So he primaled the bottom light, healed the top one, did not primal it, put up decel, and then boosted the spray to hit and damage on the void, leaving him on like half health.
Yeah, I think he took a couple boxes and then had like 3 left or something like that. It wasn't a ton of boxes. There was one attack that did a couple damage and then one that just rocks him.
Well, I mean, all I got was the spray on him so far.
Gotcha.
And there I'm trying to see if Meyer can get up there because now the Dracodile's full, so I can't transfer, but I still got the 2 Dunians. So that's effectively negates 2 attacks.
Yeah, Meyer's got some inbuilt protection with those Dunians running around. I think that that's the interesting things about our list is we have a lot of investment in support models to make sure that our stuff does what it needs to do, and those Dunians just really kind of like bring that up for you because they're really not doing much else other than keeping your big things or your key pieces alive.
And there I'm trying to measure like running stuff to the flag, but like with that vault in the way, there's no way, so he goes back. And actually, I didn't put up decel. I put vision on Meyer. So Meyer has a vision and 2 Dunians in range where he currently is.
Yep, that's a lot of safety.
So Vault goes, boost the hit, because he's only rat 6 into the void. Hits, boost damage.
And just destroys him.
Yep, I tried the Death Driver, and I realized it's a living and undead, so I can't even Death Driver him.
Well, and they can't be taken control of either.
I don't care. He's dead, so he technically wouldn't be alive anymore. So Vault reloads, and then gets an unboosted shot into the guy who does nothing.
I think now you've got your Battle Boar that's primaled.
Boosts, does like 6 damage.
Yeah, it's not a ton of damage that
Boosts,
gets done.
Yep.
That roll was rough.
So he's sitting on,
I think it was 17 boxes we're sitting on now, so like I'm feeling pretty healthy with the turtle right now since there's not a whole lot left up there that can really do damage to it. There's a couple things, but it's going to have to go really good for Ethan in order for this turtle to go down, so I'm not feeling terrible.
no. Endunian charge, and it did no damage, and then Brian was nice enough to let me
Shuffle
move the
around.
charge because I forgot I needed Meyer to get in there.
Yeah, it's easy to get kind of like flustered with this kind of stuff, so we're in no specific event where things are going to be wonky, so I'm perfectly fine with making sure Ethan can get the things he needs to get in. I don't want him to lose the game because of something that didn't get like hammered out right away. So we're going forward with Operation Can the Frog Kill the Turtle.
Yeah, and Meyer couldn't charge. I could charge, but that would take me out of Dracodile range, so the Dracodile wouldn't be in control. So I ended up having to walk. So I have poison, so I hit. Boost damage, so it's a 4 dice, POW 10. So off 9, I do like 7. Buy, boost, leave him on 3.
And that one cranks it hard.
And now I can't boost any more damage, so... And I do no damage, so he's still on 3.
And I think you're out of stuff to beat it up with over there.
Yep.
So I'm happy that turtle's alive.
Like, now I'm pretty sure Meyer's going to die. Because all the turtle has to do is smack him a few times. Because I needed to kill that turtle to have a chance at the game. Because if that turtle goes down, I'm feeling okay.
Yep. And you got a goober on the flag.
Yep.
Which I am not contesting conveniently. So, like I had said earlier, I didn't expect the Hydra to really make it through that turn, so I wasn't too worried about losing it. I've got some options to make sure that the Dracodile is not going to be as big of a problem anymore. The thing that's really bumming me out right now is my turtle that's full health is kind of out of the game for the most part. Like, it's fast and can go places and do things, but the shooting is not the greatest with that Rat 5. I mean, it's cool when you can do it, but it's not like it's this awesome mobile gun platform that's just going to shoot the world apart.
I mean, with volume fire, he needs 6s to hit my lights and
yeah,
not snakes to hit my Dracodile.
Yeah, it's still just the rage tokens just sit there and do nothing. So it's like it's all right. It's a like a couple good gun mages strapped to the back of a turtle. Like,
I mean, I'd say it's better than gun mages.
That's why I said they're good gun mages. But anyways, I am super happy that that turtle on the bottom's alive, because this is where I get my greedy moment where I can now feat and make sure that my turtles are getting the most out of this turn, because they need to do a little bit more heavy lifting than what they normally would, just because that Hydra is gone. So I think we have, I think I had Marketh. Oh no, this is the Morthurge that's walking over to Puppet Master the Kreia, because I want the Kreia to go in and kill the Swamp Goober. And next up, I think it was Marketh had decided, oh, now I'm just running a Terrorizer, so I'm a little out of order here. I put the Terrorizer here because I think Xerxes is going to get in between the Dracodile. So I know that Ethan doesn't have a lot of pieces to kind of pull out stuff like this, especially something like a little War Beast. So I put that there because Xerxes is probably going to land somewhere between that rock and the objective. And Zadesh is... Or no, now we're on the Marketh activation. So I move Marketh up and try and make sure that I don't screw myself out of a good landing spot for Xerxes, which I think I end up doing anyways. And we just launch a Stranglehold into the Dracodile, and throwing the dice, I only get 1 on the 1 die that landed in there, so there's no way I can crack damage on him, and that just means that now Xerxes has to be the one to put Stranglehold out there. Otherwise, we're going with the rest of the beast handlers. They probably could have ran. This is just more of me not really like thinking about the future of this turn. I'm just kind of like applying things, because those beast handlers probably could have run in the direction that the turtle would end up being instead of just following it around like a bunch of derpies. But that's where they're at. Xerxes then goes up over the wall and is landing a Stranglehold on with feet up, and ends up doing a decent, well, no, not a decent amount. He does just enough damage to to get 1 point on the Dracodile, and that Strangleholds him. So I'm not really worried about the Dracodile doing anything if Underchief Meyer does not go down this turn. Next up, we're just kind of strutting the turtle up, and we're going to put some damage, or try to put some damage into the battle boar that's hanging out there.
Because that battle board is on 7 boxes. So.
Yeah, there's not a whole lot left there, so if I can get this thing, that'll be great. I must be...
I think we were talking there. I'm like, are you sure you want to leave the zone?
Oh, yeah, well, that's what it was. There was a lot of, like, discussion in this one, because, like I said, I'm not a very, like... I'm not an experienced Scorn player, so having cool battle engines is, like, just... I wanted them to do stuff, so I couldn't get around the rock the way I needed to without leaving the zone. I probably could have rolled him around the other way, but that would mean that the beast handlers would need to not be where they're at. So instead of walking the whole activation of those guys back, I just said I'm going to commit to this and just see where it goes, because I'd of course rather score the zone than not score it. But I'm just going to live with this. So,
and you left the Dunian on 1 box after shooting it.
Yeah, we pulled the battle boar off, but then the Dunian's sitting on 1, so it is what it is there. The Kreia goes in and takes out the Gobber, easy peasy. So that is an easy activation for that one to go through. I think there's a Misspeaker that I felt was close enough to get to the flag, but with only having Amphibious, it's going to have to run around the forest, so I don't think I quite get it there, but now I'm just trying to figure out how I think we're talking about...
This is where I healed the vault because you killed the Goober.
Yeah, because you were looking at... You realized you could heal non-living models too, or that there wasn't a living clause. Next up, I think I decide to get a little frisky with these beast handlers and just have them charge the objective. Some of my charges might look a little sloppy, like this one here. I'm like, I don't think I can make it. And then I figured with the speed and how little of the forest he'd have to get through, he could probably make it around or make it to that point. So this was a little dodgy, but it's 3 beast handlers. They're only POW 8, but with the feet up, we end up we get the objective down to 9 boxes. So I wasn't expecting to take it out, but I was just like, put some damage on it. And if that turtle can have some leftover attacks after doing what I want it to do, then I'll be able to put some, like, at least 1 attack into that, and hopefully it should just rock the objective off. So this is where, like, I'm turning the turtle so he can get everything that he wants in his melee, and I'm pretty sure the reason why I had to pay a lot of attention to this one was because the Underchief Meyer is like exactly at 2 inches, so I can't move out of his melee, because then I do feel like I'm probably going to lose the turtle with only 3 boxes left. So now we're looking around. I think Ethan was checking something. I don't know.
Check Shield Guard.
Oh, Shield Guard for the...
Because we were talking, I was like, you probably just auto-kill my dude, because I can Dunian envision the damage, but I will still get knocked down, so you need a feated 8 to knock me down, and then all the gunshots will auto-kill me, and there you rolled 8 to knock me down. And
that was without the feat, so then that was with me boosting the tail. So now Meyer's knocked down, but the Dunian stopped the damage roll, so he's still up.
Well, he took the vision, stopped it. Now you're shooting him, so I shield guard the first one.
Yep. And now we're just going to keep putting shots into Meyer, even though I don't have like even though volume fire isn't going off here, I'm still getting a pretty decent chunk of damage. I think it was a dice off 2 or 3 or something like that.
Dice off 1.
Dice off 1. Sorry, yeah, they're frogs.
Yep.
So he goes Kersplat with only 1, with all the shooting out of the way.
Yeah, because you rolled a 3 on the shots.
So I buy an attack into the vault because I do want to get that out of here, and that ends up taking it off. My last attack, this is the one that I think should have been destined for the objective, just to score some points here, but I put it into the boar instead, and I do a quite I do quite a bit of damage to it, but just not enough to take it out all the way, which I wasn't expecting to. But getting some points off of it's nice because it limits some things later on. Like you're gonna have to heal that beast up in order to get it to function, and it's already primaled anyways. So.
Yeah, and it was left. You took out its body.
Notably, no points scored for me because that's how cool I am at this game.
So I auto frenzy, my body's out, and so I can't physically damage it. I decide I'm gonna live on the edge and do Drang for the first time ever because I got nothing to lose here.
Yep.
And I need to go up there and punch some dudes to score the flag.
The turtles are coming down on you, so
it's more of like that. So I've lost all 3 huge bases effectively because the Dracodile is wild, and I can't even add him to my battle group because he's not Pharaoh.
Yep.
So realistically, I have 4 models left. One of them auto frenzied, and then the rest of them are support.
Notably, I think that frenzy didn't kill the turtle either, so that's still hanging around.
Well, that's why I said it was on one with the body out. It did not break it, and then
Oh,
the
now
mental
we-
force
yeah, there
bone
we go.
shaker killed it.
Gotcha. Okay.
So now I have a Dunian, my caster, and then I can't even tell what that other model is there. I think that's
Isn't
just the
just the
Dunian
Soul
staff.
Slave?
No, that's the Dunian staff. It looks like a small base model.
Oh yeah, the one that's behind the corrosion pool. Yeah, that's my unpainted one that you decided to miss on the shelf when you were looking for another Dunian.
So I have 2 models left to activate. So I end up charging.
Yep, the Cray is getting some Drang hate.
I did upkeep Polarity Field for free just because it's in my way. So maybe a turtle can't shoot me to death. But he can still just trample. So charge attack hits. I do decent damage.
Yeah, Krays aren't
second
all that easy to kill, or aren't all that hard to kill.
No, dice damage. Second initial hits. Leaves them on like 3, 2. Yep. Leaves
Yeah,
them
it's
on
not
2.
a ton.
I buy an attack, auto hit, auto kill.
Yep, so the Kray goes down, and I get to pull the 1 Fury off of it.
Yep, so I'm sitting on 5 right now.
But that Misspeaker's still hanging out,
Yep, you
contesting
can't see
the
it
flag.
behind the tree. So I do an obliterate into it.
Missed by 1.
No, I hit with a 6.
Oh, okay. And then you roasted. Sorry, I was just like, oh, the Misspeaker lives.
And I feat just because a big old FU to Xerxes because it makes the Terrorizer Fury 1.
It's
and
more
that's
of an
literally all it does.
It's more of an FU to Zadesh because Xerxes doesn't want anything to do with that Terrorizer.
I know it's, And
My-
then I think we're just looking and like I literally have the Dunian. It can't physically run to the around anywhere. That's why.
Yeah, she's only speed 5, which I think you struggled with a couple times in this game.
Yep. So she ends up just running over there to try and contest. Or not contest, but to engage dudes for next turn in case I happen to live. That way maybe she could clear and the battle board could clear. And then I end my turn and score 1.
So I've got 1 turtle left that's not going to be able to do a ton to that Dracodile because, I mean, it's not like it's worth doing much to it anyways. It's basically useless. It just exists there to exist. Sturm and Drang are behind it, so that's kind of a bummer, but I think with the speed that I've got, I might be able to work around that Dracodile to be able to take a beat on him and just start shooting a little bit. But my big goal here is just get Xerxes in and do some work. So I think the first thing I end up doing is have Zadesh go, and he puts Rush out onto Xerxes before he moves, and then he moves up into range to rush the Terrorizer, who is only Fury 1 right now, but with a free charge that seems to work out pretty well for him. Next up, I have the Terrorizer go and charge Sturm Drang, and with parry, I'm able to get behind him still because of the way you were pointed. It wasn't hard for me to get into your
You
rear.
were in my back no matter what because my charge angle on the Kriya.
Yeah.
To get base to base with the flag, I had to give him my butt.
Yep. So the Terrorizer has a ton of attacks. They just aren't really powerful. So the first one ends up hitting, and I think at POW 9 we were dice off 7 or something like that. So he ends up doing a decent amount of damage. I think it was 6 damage on that one.
He did 5.
5
He
damage.
rolled a
Sorry.
12, and I took it.
Gotcha. I just didn't look at the dice close enough. So my next attack does nothing, and now I'm finally to the Slug Gun, and this is the one that I want to boost damage on, so I don't bother boosting to hit. I only needed 7 to connect in the back, so it was dicey. But now I use my 1 Fury to boost that POW 14, and that one does another 6. This is the one that did 6 damage, and you ended up keeping that.
Yep.
And now I'm trying to figure out if Xerxes can get to there with a... Well, I'm feeling like I can get there with a charge, but then I remember that we play the rocks with the whole base as the obstruction instead of just the physical rock itself. So Ethan points that out to me, and I can't make a charge. So we're trying to... Well, I don't know. I can't make a charge yet, but now we're manufacturing out that if I charge to get within 2 inches of Sturm Drang with Xerxes, that I cannot fit there because of the way the base is for the rock. So I end up just plotting out, can I walk Xerxes up there to make it? And he's speed 9 right now with Rush, so it's pretty likely that he can get there, but we just
pretty much guaranteed.
Yeah, we just map it out anyways to make sure he can get in. So I'm not close enough to get the horn or the impact, or not impact, but the mount attack in. But I've got 2 initials, and I feel pretty good here with only needing a 4 to hit you, or 5.
You need a 6
A
because you
6,
were
'cause
not in my butt. The way you were
that's
angled
right.
in there,
Your defense
there was
14.
an angle of your base that was in my front arc.
Yep.
So you actually miss,
Yeah, I missed the initial,
and then you puppet master.
and then I puppet master to hit, so that was fine. But then I don't roll real hot for damage. The second one misses, and the third one misses, so now we're not doing so hot here. The fourth one hits, and the damage just blows up like crazy, and Ethan's like, I'm going to transfer that. And then you forgot that I did all that damage to that battle boar, so enough blows back to just take Sturm out of the game.
Yeah, so because
Tough.
that battle board was only on 6 boxes.
Yep. So that was a pretty interesting game. I think we were talking about it afterwards, and the first thing that was weird was the double miss speakers. But I do think, like I said, anytime I bring 2 battle engines, if I can get eyeless sight on a stick to shake blind off of things, I'll do it. Just because I really fear having a battle engine taken out of the game for a whole, or taken out of the game really permanently, because I don't think you can ever really get it off if they're able to apply it frequently. So those guys are important to me. But the other thing is that Ethan's list is really pointed at taking on infantry lists. So we were just like, let's throw a ton of huge bases on the table and have a blast. And it was for maybe one of us.
Yeah, it was not for me.
The Xerxes list is just so fast and hits so hard and is really efficient with the way that with how many attacks the turtles can get. And then on feet turn, you can just do so much extra. And even the Hydra getting like 9 attacks total is just bonkers. And then there's Rush and the Field Marshal. It's just Xerxes looks really uninteresting when you look at his cards, but when you see how he like works on the table, it's a completely different thing. He just does a ton for his army. And
I will disagree with that statement. You look at his card and your first thought is, holy shit, he's amazing.
I mean, I guess when I look at his card, like, I just look at it and don't read the words.
Yeah, if you don't read his Field Marshal or his feet, and you're just like, Fury 5 with Rapport and Ignite, you're like, meh.
Yeah.
And then like when you ran turn 1, you're like, okay, my Hydra runs 10. And I'm like, no, it runs 14.
Yep, I completely forgot that they had put the speed 2 buff on him as a Field Marshal. It was
I
just
still
nasty.
can't believe that exists still.
There's just even the turtles, like, they feel like they're just a little overtuned. I'm sure like this is just my one time playing Scorn, and I know that people don't consider Scorn to be like this top tier performing faction if you're not talking about stone dudes, but like this list just feels brutal.
It's a good off list. Like, I've played into the versions of this before with the triple huge bases, and it threatens far, it hits hard, and it actually has infantry clearing with all the shots and all the sprays.
Yeah.
And your feet just makes like everything good.
Originally I had a Mammoth in here because I think the Mammoth is a really cool looking model, and then I looked at the Desert Hydra rules and I was just like, this is just better for this list.
Yep, because when you combine Desert Hydra Animus and then Kriya Animus. Xerxes is like near immune to guns.
Yep.
And like
And
one of
the
your
feet.
only outs on this list is like trying to kill Xerxes, and my God, that's a nightmare.
Yeah, because he doesn't need to he doesn't have a lot that he needs to do, so he can usually camp some transfers and like use the Kreia as a battery for them if there's not a whole lot of threat that's needed that you require having Force Aura or whatever up. But between Sandstorm and Force Aura, it's just like he's really hard to get to.
Yeah, and he's what, 15, 18?
Yeah, I think so.
15, 18, steady with tough. So like, and he's got what, 20?
I'm not sure. I can't quote all of the Scorn numbers right off the top of my head, but I'm going to flip through my phone and talk just to make sure that people don't get bored listening to this if they
Because I
haven't
have
already.
killed Xerxes in combat with a Wrestler, so like, I know he has a
He's
shit tons of boxes.
13-19 with 19 boxes. So he's beefy. 15 I know sounded a little off,
Yep.
but he's pretty legit. Hard to kill for sure, and he does a lot. He's an active caster. His battle group is super active, and his feat is ridiculous. I just think this list is really fun, and I look forward to playing some more Scorn in the future. And I'm not sure what we'll play next with them, but we'll work on it, and maybe I'll get a better gist of how the faction functions. Because I was just like a kid on Christmas morning with this list, because like huge bases are my thing, and being able to play 4 of them in a list that's this like aggressive is just really crazy.
I mean, yeah. And the only reason I even had a chance to come back in this game is because you didn't feed Tapatu.
Yeah, that was it. In hindsight, it was not the greatest idea for me to not do, but like I said, we recognize that I got greedy, and it did all right. Like towards the end of the game, feeding later was beneficial in some way.
If you had feeded Tapatu,
Then I wouldn't have had to worry about
you
a lot
would
of
have
those
had
things.
both of my huge bases gone, my heavy, and that battle boar, because that battle boar would have died
Yeah.
from the 2 extra attacks, because you probably would have had a 3rd attack into him with the additional die dropping the lowest.
It's just too easy to get greedy when you got so many big boys.
I know, and your battle engines are literally twice the speed of mine.
Yeah, it's nasty.
And like now I'll do my little rant on Sacrovaults. You can tell me in the comments if you disagree, but I will fight on this hill that they are arguably the worst fucking battle engine in the game. And this, I try to limit how much I swear on the channel, but this is where I get to drop my F-bomb, because I think they are absolutely terrible. They're like, they have so much potential to be good, and that's what everyone's like. You're like, oh, Soulstorm, and if you shoot, you kill, you get a soul reload. Like, the fact they're reload, they're the only battle engine I can think of that is reload. They should just be straight rate of fire 3, and that's before even getting into the fact that Soul Ward is literally everywhere these days. So like, they're not getting enemy souls unless you shoot Deathly Dominion and walk them out of Soul Ward range, and now that just gets you 1 soul, which you reload, and then like that top one only rolled a 1 for its Crypto Soul, so it's like, well, guess I'm stuck on 1 soul until I get to reload or boost 1 shot and hope I hit.
Yeah, the vaults feel a little underperforming. I think in a world like a year and a half ago, they were probably at an okay level.
They were
not to
still arguably worst battle engine after the battle engine Sid.
But that's the thing. Some of the other battle engines are just really that good, though. Like even the Khador one's good now.
The only one I can think of that's maybe as bad is the other Minions one, and I've run the Meat Thresher.
Yeah, I've run the Meat Thresher too, and I think it's a fine battle engine. I think I'm trying to go through my head on what other battle the Hooch Hauler is not the greatest in the universe,
but it was really
It's
good
playable.
in theme for
Yeah,
a while because
it's
the
playable.
oil gun. So like,
and it's not to say that the Sacrovault is hot trash garbage. I think the Sacrovault reload is just not a great rule on something with such a limited resource, and it's even plagued more by the prevalence of people being able to keep their souls a lot right now. So like the Infernals came down and peed on everyone's party that likes to get the souls cracking up, and I think the Sacrovault just kind of got caught in those crosshairs.
yep. And then like Thamrites on top of it too. Like,
Yeah, you need, like we were saying, 6 shield guards is what you even only having 4 makes it so that there's a chance that you're going to lose it.
yep, because if they shoot it once with that stupid ability that gets rid of all of its souls, it's like, well, that's fun.
I think it's the Mars Teeth.
Yep. because it's the one I never get to use because somebody usually has enough shield. I mean, it only really matters against Supreme Guardians.
Yeah, they get mopey with that.
And then, but like, they're just not great. And like, they have potential to be good because that's in a perfect world. If you roll 3 souls turn 1, and then you don't need the boost to hit or damage with your Rat 6 and your POW 13 gun. It's so like you hit, you kill, and you Deathly Dominion that guy. He hits and kills a guy, nets you 2 souls. Now you reload, and then you do it again, and then you reload. Like, in a perfect world, you can sit good, but then even like for the Fiona Flames matchup, you need 4 souls on you all the time to stop her from befuddling your battle engine, because she can try it 3 times. And you know what a speed 4 battle engine really hates? Being turned around and walking 3 inches the other way.
Yeah, it just really hurts his threat range. So I hope you enjoyed the big guy smash and the small rant of Sacrovaults. It's not to say that they're hot garbage. It's just that they're kind of lacking behind a little bit and need to be brought up a little.
They're just, I mean, somebody's always got to be on the bottom of the totem pole for stuff,
yeah.
But it's like the disparity from a good battle engine and a Sacrovault is just like night and day.
Yeah, the degrees of separation are quite a bit between those.
I mean, they're probably really, really good into Strange Bedfellows, unless Gaspy 4 gets on you, but like this list was in my pairing theoretically for Flames, and then I realized I don't have enough shield guards. I only have 4.
Yep.
Like, if one Hemorrhate rolls 3 and the other one rolls 2 shots, like, that vault is gone.
Yep, it's just out of the game.
Because, like, as soon as you strip the souls, like, all that infantry just murders it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I hope you enjoyed this one, regardless of the small sacral salt. But stay tuned, check out the next battle report, and let us know in the comments below if you have any thoughts on Sacral Vaults or just Scorn stuff in general. Like I said, I've just picked up the faction, so I'm going to be screwing around with it a little bit more on here so you Scorn people can get some attention out there too. Otherwise, thanks for watching, and have a good week, I guess.
Yeah.